The sun had long dipped below the horizon, casting the world into a veil of darkness. Amanda gripped the steering wheel, her eyes darting between the road and the GPS on her dashboard. She had decided to take a shortcut through the winding back roads, hoping to reach her destination faster. But now, as the narrow road stretched ahead like an endless abyss, unease clawed at her chest. As she drove, the headlights of her car illuminated the surrounding woods in quick, fleeting glances. Shadows danced among the trees, whispering secrets she couldn't quite decipher. She tried to shake off the feeling, reminding herself that it was just her imagination playing tricks. Suddenly, the engine of her car sputtered and coughed, the headlights flickering before dying out completely. Panic clenched her throat as the car coasted to a stop, leaving her in utter darkness. "Damn it," Amanda muttered, her voice shaky. She pulled out her phone, only to find that it had no signal. She was stranded in the middle of nowhere with no way to call for help. Gathering her courage, she stepped out of the car to check the engine. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant rustling of leaves. Amanda opened the hood and peered into the abyss of machinery, her heart pounding in her chest. She had little knowledge of cars, but she hoped she might be able to spot something obvious. "Need a hand?" Amanda jumped at the sudden voice, her head snapping around to find a man leaning against a weathered truck parked a few feet away. Her breath caught in her throat as her eyes locked onto the man's unsettling grin. He was tall, his features obscured by the darkness save for the glint in his eyes. He wore a ragged flannel shirt and a tattered cap pulled low over his brow. His stance exuded an air of casual confidence, but it was the way he seemed to be studying her that sent shivers down her spine. "I'm all right. Thanks," Amanda stammered, her voice wavering. "I just need to figure out what's wrong with my car." The man's grin widened, revealing yellowed teeth. "You're lucky I happened by. I'm a truck driver. Maybe I can help you out." Despite her discomfort, Amanda weighed her options. Stranded alone in the dark woods with no signal was a dangerous situation. She couldn't deny that she needed help. "Okay, sure. If you think you can help." The man approached her with an unsettling familiarity, his steps deliberate. Amanda forced herself to stand her ground, suppressing the urge to back away. As he peered into her car's engine, his gaze lingered a moment too long on her. He straightened up, his expression unreadable. "Looks like you're out of luck, miss. Your car's going nowhere tonight." Amanda's heart sank, a cold sweat breaking out on her brow. What am I supposed to do now? The man's grin returned, sending shivers down Amanda's spine. "Lucky for you, I've got a warm cabin in my truck. You can wait there until morning. It's better than being stuck out here all alone." Amanda's instincts screamed at her to decline, to run back to her car and lock herself in. But the darkness was oppressive, and the thought of spending the night alone in the woods was equally terrifying. She reluctantly nodded. "All right, I appreciate it." As they walked towards the truck, Amanda's senses went into overdrive. Every rustling leaf and hooting owl felt like a sinister omen. The truck's interior was dimly lit by a small overhead light, casting elongated shadows on the cramped space. "Make yourself comfortable," the man said, his voice too smooth for Amanda's liking. "I'll grab a blanket for you." Amanda hesitated as he disappeared into the darkness outside. Alone in the truck, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into a trap. Her eyes darted around, landing on a set of worn photographs hanging from the rearview mirror. She leaned closer to inspect them, her heart sinking as she recognized her own face in one of the pictures. The truck's door creaked open, and Amanda jumped, her breath catching in her throat, as the man climbed back in, a blanket in hand. "Here you go," he said, his grin wider than before. Amanda's pulse raced, and she took the blanket with trembling hands. "Thank you." As the man settled into the driver's seat, Amanda's mind raced. Her gut feeling was undeniable now. Something was very wrong. She had to get out of this situation. "I think I'll just wait in my car," Amanda blurted, her voice strained. The man's smile faltered for a fraction of a second before he nodded, his eyes glinting with something Amanda couldn't quite place. "Suit yourself. But I must warn you, it's going to be a cold night." Amanda clenched the blanket, her fingers white-knuckled. She knew she had to act quickly. As she stepped out of the truck, the man's gaze bore into her like a predator's, making her skin crawl. She shut the door behind her, her heart pounding as she made her way back to her car. The darkness was suffocating, the woods whispering secrets she couldn't understand. Amanda's car seemed farther away than she remembered, and the silence was broken only by the distant hum of the truck's engine. With every step, her sense of dread deepened. She finally reached her car, her hand fumbling for the door handle. But just as she was about to open the door, she heard footsteps behind her. Amanda turned, her breath catching in her throat. The man was right behind her, his grin more menacing than ever. "Leaving so soon?" he asked, his voice dripping with malevolence. Amanda's heart raced, her survival instincts kicking into overdrive. She flung open the car door and jumped inside, slamming it shut behind her. The man's face twisted into a snarl, his fists clenched. She fumbled for her keys and jammed them into the ignition, her car roaring to life. Without looking back, she hit the gas pedal and sped away, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't stop until the trees gave way to familiar streetlights, until she was surrounded by the comfort of civilization once again. As Amanda pulled over to catch her breath, she realized she was safe. The memory of the man's grin haunted her, a reminder of the darkness that could lurk just beyond the edges of the known world. The chilling encounter would forever be etched into her mind, a harrowing reminder that danger could be found in the most unexpected of places. Weeks turned into months, but the memory of that chilling encounter never left Amanda's mind. She had told her friends and family about the eerie truck driver, but they dismissed it as a creepy coincidence. However, Amanda's gut feeling couldn't be silenced. She felt a lingering sense of unease, especially when she was driving alone at night. As the days grew shorter and the air grew colder, Amanda found herself navigating the same winding backroads once again. The memory of that night hadn't faded. It had become a constant companion, a reminder that danger could be lurking just beyond the shadows. One evening, as Amanda drove through the familiar stretch of road, her headlights caught a glimpse of something ahead. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized the silhouette of a truck parked on the side of the road. Dread crept up her spine, and she considered turning around. But then she noticed something. The truck was parked in front of another car, its headlights flashing erratically. Curiosity mingled with trepidation as Amanda slowed down, her pulse quickening. She had sworn to never let her guard down again, but something about this situation felt different. As she approached, she saw a woman standing outside the car, waving her arms frantically. Amanda pulled over cautiously, her eyes locked on the woman. She rolled down her window just a crack, keeping a safe distance. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The woman's eyes were wide with panic, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Please, I'm stranded here. My car broke down, and I have no signal. Can you call for help?" Amanda hesitated, her memories of the sinister truck driver flooding back. But she couldn't ignore someone in need. She nodded and pulled out her phone, dialing 911. As she spoke with the operator, her eyes darted between the woman and the truck driver. Minutes stretched into eternity as Amanda explained the situation to the operator. The woman seemed genuinely distressed, her fear palpable. But Amanda couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Just as Amanda was about to hang up, the sound of an approaching engine made her heart skip a beat. The truck driver from that night was back, his weathered truck pulling up behind the woman's car. Amanda's breath caught in her throat as she watched him step out of the truck, his grin sending chills down her spine. The operator's voice crackled through the phone, but Amanda's attention was fixed on the unfolding scene. The woman's expression shifted from fear to unease as the truck driver approached her. He seemed to be offering his help, but Amanda's instincts screamed danger. "Stay in your car," Amanda whispered to herself, her grip on the steering wheel tight. She knew she couldn't let history repeat itself. Just as the woman stepped back, the truck driver's demeanor changed. His smile twisted into a snarl, and he lunged at her. Amanda's heart raced as she watched the horrifying scene unfold before her. The woman screamed, and Amanda's hand trembled as she pressed the phone against her ear. "Send help. Send help now," Amanda shouted into the phone, her voice shaking with a mix of fear and urgency. The woman managed to break free from the truck driver's grasp and stumbled back, her eyes locking onto Amanda's car. She sprinted towards it, desperation in her every movement. Amanda's heart pounded as she unlocked the passenger door, ready to offer a lifeline. The woman yanked open the door and dove inside, her breath ragged. "Drive, just drive." Without hesitation, Amanda slammed her foot on the gas pedal, her car roaring to life. As they sped away from the scene, Amanda stole a glance in the rearview mirror. The truck driver was still standing there, his face contorted in a mixture of rage and frustration. As they reached the safety of a well-lit area, Amanda finally pulled over. The woman was still trembling, tears streaming down her face. Amanda handed her a tissue from the glove compartment, her own hands shaking. "Thank you," the woman said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't stopped." Amanda nodded, her heart still racing. "Are you okay? Do you need me to take you somewhere?" The woman wiped her tears and took a deep breath, her composure returning. "No, I called a friend who lives nearby. They're on their way." As they waited in silence, Amanda couldn't help but reflect on the eerie symmetry of the situation. She had been the one in need not so long ago, and now she had been the one to help someone else. The encounter had come full circle, a testament to the unpredictable and often sinister nature of the world. When the woman's friend arrived, Amanda watched as they embraced with relief. She started her car once again and pulled onto the road, her thoughts a whirlwind of emotions. The memory of that nightmarish encounter with the truck driver had been transformed into an unexpected opportunity to make a difference. As Amanda continued her journey, the darkness and the shadows seemed less intimidating. She had faced her fear and emerged stronger, realizing that even in the most unsettling of situations, there was room for courage and compassion. The road ahead might still be uncertain, but Amanda was determined to navigate it with newfound resilience.